There is a kind of quiet dread that settles in the corners of a seemingly ordinary life, a whisper of secrets and regrets interwoven with the mundane. The story of the wedding ring begins on an ordinary autumn evening, when the crisp air carried a subtle hint of impending mystery. A simple piece of gold, once cherished as a symbol of eternal love, had lain hidden away in a dusty, forgotten drawer. Then, when the ring reappeared under the most impossible of circumstances, it unleashed a cascade of memories, betrayals, and whispered promises that refused to be silenced. In a modest living room, dim light filtered through drawn curtains as a solitary figure sat pondering over old family papers. The air was heavy with both nostalgia and foreboding. The ring, now glinting under the lamp's glow, appeared almost otherworldly in its allure. As the figure carefully turned the ring over in his hand, each scratch and worn detail told a fragment of a story long simmering beneath the surface. There was an undeniable sense that this small token held more than the promise of devotion. It carried the weight of secrets that had haunted a family for decades, and foretold a future where some ties could not be unbound. In another corner of the story, the wedding ring became the silent observer of love and betrayal. It was once an emblem, inscribed with the eternal vow, "Till death do us part." That sentiment, however, was only the beginning of a much darker tale. When the ring was first worn, it was a pledge, a bond forged from passions and promises. Yet as time passed, that very symbol began to embody more sinister threads of fate. Every glimmer of gold concealed dark truths, secrets that were carefully tucked away, and duplicity that had shifted the course of lives in unexpected ways. As the narrative unfolds, we meet Elena, a woman whose resilience was as remarkable as the mysteries entwined with the ring. She discovered the relic in a forgotten box while clearing out the attic of a once cherished family home, the same home that had witnessed laughter, heated arguments, and intimate moments marked by both tenderness and pain. The atmosphere was thick with the scent of old wood and the echoes of voices past. In her hands, the ring transformed from a mere piece of jewelry into an artifact of memory, a relic of promises made and lost, of love that had turned sour, and of secrets that refused to remain hidden. Elena's journey through memory was punctuated with vivid sensations. The ring's cool touch elicited recollections of sunlit days and long-forgotten whispers under a moonlit sky. Each time she examined it, she could almost hear the faint echo of a vow made in innocence, only to be tainted by betrayal. It was as if the gold itself shimmered with fragments of dialogues, laughter shared in secrecy, and tears that had been silently shed in the dead of night. The ring was not merely an ornament, it was a living chronicle of human passion and fallibility. In another chapter of this tale, the focus shifts to Thomas, a man responsible for a series of decisions that hurt those closest to him. Thomas was once a devoted husband, his love as palpable as the sunrise, but echoes of his dwindling commitment silently unraveled through time. The ring, once given as a pledge of fidelity, slowly morphed into a symbol of his inner conflict. The subtle pressure of its weight served as a constant reminder of promises he had once made, and of the quiet betrayals that had, in time, eroded the once solid foundation of his marriage. The ring's golden glow, far from healing, became a mirror reflecting a character divided between devotion and the lure of darker impulses. This narrative is not simply about the ring as a piece of jewelry. It is about the invisible threads that tie hearts together in ways that defy logic and reason. The ring bore witness to encounters both small and monumental. A secret exchange of letters hidden in a drawer, midnight phone calls filled with hushed confessions, and the slow, painful disintegration of trust. The wedding ring, embedded with the scars of past transgressions, had come to embody the idea that love, when betrayed, leaves an indelible mark, one that can haunt even the most unsuspecting among us. One evening, as rain traced delicate patterns on the window pane, Elena sat alone in her small study, the ring resting on a pile of scattered memories. Outside, the gentle hum of the city was mingled with the sound of raindrops dancing on cobblestones. Each drop seemed to carry with it fragments of a bygone era, a time when promises were unbreakable and the word forever was not spoken lightly. In that moment, the ring appeared as if it had a life of its own, beckoning her to explore the mysteries locked within its minuscule form. It was a subtle guide into the past, into stories of love, regrets, and secrets that once threatened to tear families apart. As Elena turned the ring over again in her hand, she could almost see the flickering shadows of a life lived in extremes. There was the bright radiance of passionate love, a beacon that had once illuminated the path forward, but equally there were the darker hues of regret and pain. The narrative of the ring was woven from threads of passion, betrayal, and sorrow that transcended the boundaries of time. It was an unspoken chronicle that begged the question, can a symbol of devotion also serve as a harbinger of inevitable doom? The answer lay partly in the enigmatic interplay between memory and mystery, a dance of light and shadow, where sentiment met suspicion. In the dim glow of her study, Elena's mind wandered back to the day she found an old photograph tucked into a forgotten envelope. In the photograph, a younger version of herself stood side by side with Thomas, both of them smiling beneath a canopy of wisteria. At first glance, the image radiated happiness and promise, but over time, the cracks in that seemingly perfect union became apparent. Memories of whispered arguments, of eyes that held unspoken accusations, and of lonely nights intermingled with the sweet recollections of shared dreams. The ring, once a beacon of hope, gradually revealed its more sinister role in the narrative of their unraveling love. It had borne silent witness to the shifting tides of loyalty, becoming a relic that encapsulated both the beauty and the tragedy of their lives. The scene shifts to a moment of reckoning, a time when the past and the present collided in a moment that could no longer be ignored. On a chilly evening, when the wind carried with it the scent of distant memories, Elena encountered an unexpected visitor. A relative, long estranged, came bearing an old diary with entries that hinted at a dark family secret. The diary recounted tales of whispered promises, clandestine meetings, and an enduring curse said to be tied to the wedding ring. With each carefully written word, the diary painted a picture of a family legacy stained by betrayal, an inheritance not measured in wealth, but in the burden of secrets that echoed down the generations. The diary detailed an event from decades past when the ring was lost, only to reappear in the most unlikely of places, a cold, abandoned mansion on the outskirts of town. In that mansion, the eerie silence was occasionally broken by the creak of floorboards and the murmurs of a long-forgotten past. It was there that members of the family had met their fate, and it was there that the ring, imbued with the essence of their secrets, had once again come into view. The words in the diary spoke in hushed tones of an unbreakable connection, a dark tether that bound souls together across time, a link that could not be easily severed, no matter how desperately one might try. The mysterious nature of the wedding ring is underscored by its uncanny timing and inexplicable recurrence. It is as if the ring sought out those who had been marked by destiny, drawing them into a web of secrets where every glimmer of gold was a beacon both of hope and of warning. Each time it appeared, it revived old wounds and reopened chapters that many believed had been conclusively closed. For some, like Elena, the ring was a painful reminder of an era defined by lost love and betrayal. For others, such as the hushed voices in the diary and the ghostly remnants clinging to that dilapidated mansion, it was an omen, an inescapable harbinger of fate's cruel design. As the narrative threads begin to interweave, the fate of several characters becomes hopelessly entangled, each one ensnared by the magnetism of the ring. The wedding ring, in all its deceptive simplicity, had a way of unearthing truths that certain individuals preferred to leave buried. It compelled quiet onlookers to confront the darker aspects of their pasts. forcing them to reconcile with the decisions and betrayals that had shaped their lives. The palpable tension between love and despair, between commitment and betrayal, infused every encounter with an almost spectral quality, as if the line between reality and spirit had grown precariously thin. Late into the night, in the solitude of a dimly lit room, Elena would often find herself lost in thought, a silent observer to memories that were as painful as they were illuminating. The ring, nestled amid the scattered remnants of photographs and letters, became a catalyst for reflection. In its golden hue lay the legacy of love lost and promises broken, a constant reminder that sometimes the most enduring symbols of devotion could also conceal the darkest secrets. This layered story, drawn with both elegance and cruelty, is not just about the ring or the broken promises it symbolizes. It is about the intrinsic human desire to hold on to memories, to cling to the tangible tokens that represent both love and loss. The wedding ring stands as a testament to this duality, a tangible relic of the past, yet a living, breathing enigma that continues to shape the present. Every grain of its worn surface, every engraved detail, speaks volumes of a time when emotions ran high and the promises of forever were made under the spell of passion and hope. But as the years passed, those words, "till death do us part," transformed from a sacred vow to a haunting refrain that echoed the inexorable truth that some bonds once formed might never be freed from the shadows of unintended consequences. In the gentle cadence of narrations and reflections, the wedding ring becomes more than an object. It evolves into a metaphor for the perils of unspoken truths that, once revealed, hold the power to shatter lives and redefine destinies. The persistent glimmer of gold, as it catches the light from dusty lamps and soft silver moons, is a silent ambassador to the complexity of human emotion, a stark reminder that every symbol of love may hide the seeds of its own undoing. At a pivotal moment in this unfolding drama, a storm brewed outside, as if echoing the turmoil within. Thunder rumbled in the distance, resonating with the internal storm of hearts torn by betrayal and longing. The wedding ring, left behind on a windowsill that bore the marks of countless storms, shimmered in the intermittent flashes of lightning. In that flash of illumination, the ring's intricate design, once nearly imperceptible, became a roadmap of past misdeeds and unfulfilled promises. The intensity of that moment captured the very essence of the narrative, that love, though powerful and transcendent, could twist into a labyrinth of guilt, regret, and forlorn destiny. As the days turned into weeks, the story lingered in hushed conversations and heartfelt confessions. Family members, reluctant yet compelled to confront the inherited legacy of deceit and sorrow, began to piece together fragments of the past. Their voices, low and trembling with a mixture of fear and empathy, recounted how the ring, a seemingly insignificant artifact, had been a silent witness to a myriad of intimate struggles. These recollections painted a picture of a time when trust was innocent and fragile, but also a reminder that sometimes the bonds forged in love were as inevitable as the pull of gravity, inescapable, even when they spelled pain. The narrative shifted once more, a testament to life's unpredictable cadence, as characters set forth on individual quests to reconcile with their past. Some sought solace by returning to the old mansion where the ring was once lost, hoping that the somber silence of its desolate halls would help him understand the true nature of his own broken promises. Others, like Elena, found that the path to healing lay in accepting the inevitability of memory and the bittersweet charm of rediscovered truths. The journey, winding and unpredictable, underlined an undeniable reality. Every piece of history, no matter how painful, provided a stepping stone toward understanding oneself. Within the confines of this intricate tale, it becomes clear that the wedding ring is more than a symbol. It is a mirror reflecting both the luminous and the shadowed aspects of the human soul. The very essence of the ring is a paradox. It is a treasure born out of love, yet steeped in betrayal, an emblem of forever that simultaneously portends a fate laden with remorse. Every glint of gold tells a story. Every worn edge whispers of lives irrevocably altered by choices made in the throes of passion and despair. At the climax of this journey, there is a moment of reckoning where the characters stand at the crossroads between the past and the present. The wedding ring, having been passed from one hand to another, spun a narrative thread that was both deeply personal and hauntingly universal. In those critical moments, the realization emerged with a quiet, sorrowful inevitability that the secrets we bury, no matter how deeply or carefully concealed, inevitably come to light. They rise like ghosts to remind us that no bond is without its shadows, and no promise can ever escape the burdens of consequence. The ring, now reclaimed as both a haunting relic and a cherished fragment of memory, reminds everyone that every silver line and every faded engraving is a testament to lives lived in earnest, however flawed they may have been. It becomes a symbol that asks, almost in hushed tones, what would you do if you found a ring that didn't want to be found? The query lingers, echoing through the corridors of time as a challenge to the listener, inviting an introspection into the nature of commitment, betrayal, and the inescapable pull of destiny. As dusk gives way to night, and the world outside slumbers beneath a blanket of quiet introspection, the wedding ring rests once more, a silent yet eloquent testament to the complexities of the human heart. Its glimmer, softened by the gentle glow of a bedside lamp, stands as the final, indelible mark of a story that spans decades, a narrative of passion intertwined with pain, of promises that inadvertently carried the seeds of their own demise, and of the realization that some ties, no matter how fiercely we try to sever them, remain unbreakable. In this lucid retelling of lives once intertwined by fate, the wedding ring serves not only as an object of longing and regret, but also as a beacon of truth, a reminder that the past, with all its triumphs and transgressions, is never truly lost. It lives on in the hearts of those willing to confront their memories, to let the light in, and to finally understand that every symbol holds a story of love, betrayal, and an eternal silence that binds us all forever. As the narrative winds to its quiet conclusion, the gentle murmur of memories and unspoken confessions lingers in the air. The wedding ring, with its deep history and spectral reminders of long-forgotten promises, stands as a silent question, beckoning every soul to ponder. Can love's light truly overcome the dark imprints of our past? Or will these echoes of betrayal continue to shape the destiny of those who dare to wear its enduring weight? In that lingering uncertainty, in that whispered mystery, the true power of the ring and its eternal haunting promise reveals itself. Thus, the tale unfolds like a well-worn path through memories both painful and tender. It invites every listener to pause, to reflect on the delicate interplay between cherished vows and the shadows they can cast. For in the interplay of light and dark, of eternal promises and the burdens they carry, we discover a truth as ancient as time, that some ties, whether forged in love or marred by betrayal, are destined to remain, casting long, unyielding silhouettes against the tapestry of our lives. In this intricate dance of fate and memory, as the gentle strains of a bygone era echo softly through the corridors of time, the wedding ring endures, a timeless, enigmatic relic that continues to whisper of love lost, secrets kept, and the enduring challenge of reconciling who we once were with who we become in the silent passage of time.